visual artist and also a teacher at Georgia UNESCO, National University of Arts from Iași, Romania. I'm so happy to be here, and I appreciate your presence, your time, energy dedicated to this presentation. I'm actually here within an Erasmus exchange educational program, which actually gave me the opportunity to have this mobility in Dhaka. There has been concluded a partnership between Georgia UNESCO, National University of Arts, and Uronto Art Community. I collaborated very well with Sadia Mitan. She was also in Iași in May this year, and we had an interesting activity with my students from painting specialization. And as an extension of this collaboration, I decided to come here. So there is one more mobility and another artist, Farzana Urmi. Hope she will come to Iași to have a nice activity there. So this is the context to know more about my stay here. I will briefly present some things about Iași, the university town I'm coming from, and then I will tell you some things about my works, about my paintings, and afterwards I will present the workshop I recently done at Brihata Art Foundation on 19th of July, so it was really interesting. Okay, so Romania, as I think you already know, it's located in Eastern Europe. It has at the borders Ukraine, Bulgaria, Black Sea, Republic of Moldova, Hungary, and Serbia. A few things about Iași. It's good to know that it's a cultural capital of Romania. It's the third largest city, and it's known as the leading center of Romanian social, cultural, academic, and artistic life. There are a lot of festivals which are happening, literature festival, poetry, arts festival. Especially in October, it's a very good period for this, when the university year starts. So it is located in the eastern part of Romania. It's highlighted in yellow. I considered important to mention that we have a lot of sightseeings in Iași which are worthy to be visited, but I will mention just a few of them. Which are easy to remember. So, Palace of Culture, Vasile Alexandri National Theatre, Botanical Garden, Copo Park, and of course there is an area of museum, memorial houses, religious and historical monuments, which have taken the name of some important writers or poets, namely the museum especially. Here is a picture with our Palace of Culture, which served in 19th century mostly as an administrative office, but afterwards just is known as a center for comprises four important museum, history museum, science and technology museum, ethnographical museum, and fine arts museum. So it's one of Iași's jewelries, I can say. And it also houses the heritage restoration center. This is Vasile Alexandri National Theatre. So it's also located in the central part of Iași. Here in front of the theater you can see the statue of Vasile Alexandri, who is considered to be a famous poet of Iași since 19th century. Also a playwright. Botanical garden. It's actually considered the first public park in Iași. And I found interesting to mention that in the Botanical Garden there was within Romanian Creative Week, which is a cultural event which takes place each year in May usually. It has been placed an installation which is very well integrated in this natural environment. The installation belongs to Miki Velciov, is an artist from the western part of Romania, from Timișoara town, and makes reference to the reed as a connection to nature and to ecological part of Romania. So it also talks about this danger of too much technology, which can somehow destroy the ecosystem. So this is his main concept. Copal Park, another important sightseeing. I found important to include on the left side the image of Mihai Minescu in the tree. Mihai Minescu is one of the most important Romanian poets. He lived in 19th century, and he is also considered to be a mathematician, but of course the title of poet is mostly well known, so we are proud of him. And also in the Copal Park, it's an important historical monument, the obelisk of lions. And George Enescu National University, this is the official building. It's considered to be the first public state university in Romania, which was founded in 1860. And an important thing I can say is that this university comprises visual arts section, choreography, music, and also theater. So there are different buildings, but comprised within the same university. And other important universities are Alexandrian Cuza University, which comprises more specializations like letters, chemistry, mathematics, law. Grigore Popa University of Medicine and Pharmacy, that's very well known. Gheorghe Asache Technical University, and the Iași University of Life Sciences. So these four are the most important public universities in Iași. And now I'll just take you to my journey. Let's say I will present you some images of my painting diary, so my visual diary. I can just say a few words, general words about my concepts and also about my techniques. And I will start presenting you my oldest series of work, which I started in my student period, and I will finish with my latest cycles of work, so that you can see better, you can observe my artistic development. In general, I'm interested in exploring this idea of self-knowledge, of psychoanalysis, because I like doing a connection between a particular psychological aspect, and my style and my technique and my way of working. And stylistically speaking, my style started as a figurative direction and then evolved to an abstract one. So I will present you briefly my evolution. I will start with introspection, a series of work. This cycles of artworks comprises mostly self-portraits. So there was a period in my life when I felt the need to confront my ego, let's say, and for a better self-knowledge, I felt this desire to paint myself, and this was a kind of art therapy for me. And also Iași, I can say it's quite a conservative town, so being most easternly influenced, it's mostly figuratively based. So we are doing at the faculty a lot of anatomical studies, and we had a lot of themes based on portraits, self-portraits, and maybe this also influenced me a lot. So. And also, in 2012, I started experimenting with some new techniques. So, this is a cast after my hand. So I just combined three-dimensional part with a three-dimensional side, and I stick a sphere on my hand, on this cast plaster, on which I painted the head of a lion, like as a symbol of power. So this self-portrait, I can say it's a kind of metaphor of myself being the only person who has the power to do something or to deepen the self-knowledge. This is another work which I have done during my master period. I found it interesting to include some details because then I started experimenting with wax. I just melted wax and layered on the canvas, and then I came up with oil colors so that it highlights the wrinkles of these layers. So the concept is the same. It's about introspection, which is better expressed also through this violet, this purple range of color, which is actually the symbol of, it's a royal color, but also the symbol of looking more inside yourself and understanding better the inner universe, let's say, because each human, I think, is an entire universe. I continued using unconventional materials like boiled pasta, which I glued on plywood. So here you can see better. I just try to do a connection between the muscle system and this direction of the spaghetti I glued. And then I also used oil colors. I like oil colors very much because of the texture they had. This work was done during a critical period. My mother had a surgery at her heart, so I just tried to connect with her, and this is the reason why I represented myself upside down. Of course, I did it on purpose, this anatomical deformations, and also the saturated colors I used on the surface of the chest means a state of tormention and pain. And the collage can be better highlighted due to this saturated colors. So it's just a mental state I had then. And I try to express it through art, through colors, through texture. Texture for me is very important. So I connect texture with the specific modes that I have. These two paintings were done while I was in Germany in an art residency in 2007. In that period, I started using more minimalist backgrounds, like this or like this, continuing using the same purple range of colors. And this is just a zoom out, let's say, of the figure. I was interested only in the structure, anatomical structure for eyes. There is another diptych I've done in Belgium in another art residency, which is quite similar to the previous two works that I've shown you. It has a more surrealist style because I'm interested also in this art movement very much, because it makes reference to this desire of artists to know more about unconscious, about psychoanalysis, and this is why I represented myself in two different positions, and I also made references to the second chakra, the chakra of communication, by placing these two eyes on the surface of the neck, as if I just wanted to express this connection or disconnection to the outer world. Later, I started using a different brush stroke. It was more spontaneous, so I just played with my face expressions. Another series of works, Memories, comprises mostly portraits, but from my point of view, portraits can be also conceptual self-portraits, because you are what you paint and vice versa, you as generally speaking. And I try to use also different anatomical deformations, like you can easily notice in this portrait. I excluded mouth because my intention was to express the silence. Also, in this work, I experimented with industrial varnishes, which I just poured on the surface of the wet canvas this time. And by accident, but it's a nice, very beautiful accident, it happened. I got these nice textures which symbolize the inner tension I wanted to symbolize. And also the anatomical deformations are part of the process of my concept. Is another example of using white varnishes. It's more like it's between drawing and painting. I try to keep the background as much as minimalist as possible. Also, another example of portrait I exhibited in Yash in 2022 within a solo exhibition. I also used industrial varnish on dry oil colors, and I got another texture, so I just highlighted the surface of eyes, and the rest is just, I kept it very simple. And also the direction of the brush strokes contour better the round shape of the portrait. And also make reference to the idea of birth, because it's to the idea of this eternal cycle, the position of a small child in this pre-birth period. And then I started using more saturated colors. This orange, red-orange, was the expression of a moral distortion. I also was influenced by some photos that I just looked random on the internet of soldiers, generally speaking, who had wounds and traumas after taking part in wars. So I just was interested in this concept as a general concept, not in a specific political, social issue. And I kept my idea also in this distorted portrait, which is more spontaneously done comparison to my first portraits, also portraits which were very accurately done. This is just, it's more like a fight, inner fight with my canvas, because of this nervous lines and pouring industrial paint. So nothing is very silent, so it's a lot of dimension, even in the technique I used. These are also two drawings on manual paper, which highlights this anatomical deformations. Back to past, this is another series which comprises mostly eyes, so it's a series of details. Actually, in 2013, it was when I was in Spain, also in Erasmus Mobility, I started doing this series of works and experimented with unconventional materials like plastic bag, and it was a way of understanding better what I wanted to paint. And then I started using later other types of surfaces like bottles, which I found more interesting. And here is a detail where you can see better the wrinkles of skin, and I just played with expressions, that's all. This work has been done while I was in Slovenia. In other mobility, I was in Ptuj town, and the topic of our mobility was to be inspired by the historical monuments of the town, and I chose a monument which represented Orpheus. So I also like this topic of this Orpheus myth, and I got impressed by tragic love he lived, and I just expressed it in my own way. I interpreted his body. I just selected a detail of that monument, and I interpreted by representing Orpheus, composed by a series of details of eyes and portraits. Later on, I came back to my minimalist range of colors. As I said earlier, I'm interested in getting out, being more conscious of my inner side. So, as you all know, we are like an iceberg. So 30% is consciousness and 70% is unconsciousness. And what I'm trying to do in my works is to find myself and to, by discovering, the ID, which is the symbol of the unconscious part, and our self actually is mostly covered by the echoes, by the voices of others. So we, I think, we just don't, we are not 100% conscious of our thoughts, our beliefs, because we are so influenced by the others. So this is why I just try to express this thing by choosing a very minimalist background, very dark, and actually the true self is represented by this form, which is actually an eye. This work is more between figurative and abstract, and this is why it's just a fight, an inner fight, and a continuous labor of getting to know yourself better. It's the same technique I used. It's just another example of eye. Eye for me is actually a symbol of consciousness, of soul. It's a window towards the soul, of self-knowledge. And recently, another book which really inspired me, besides Sigmund Freud's theories or Carl Gustav Jung's theories related to collective unconsciousness, was a book, Metagenealogy, Family is also a treasure, and a trap, written by the famous director from Chile, Alejandro Jodorowsky. Maybe you heard about him. And he was also very interested in this therapy through theater, and also tarot cards. And also his movies are quite interesting, but very difficult to understand. So while I was reading that book, I had this feeling that all those information, really complex, and exercises that were mentioned there were really related to this self-knowledge concept I've been exploring for a couple of years. And another important thing I really discovered in his book was that we are just very deeply connected to our ancestors. And it's very important to know our family genealogical tree. If we can, of course, it's not easy. But this is why maybe I started doing these works intuitively, and then I discovered that, of course, it's not everything by default. So everything I did until now has a reason. So actually, I understood better what I intuitively was looking for until then. So this is one of the books which really impressed me and inspired me in my works. And this is a detail to see better the transport layers. I use the metaphorical layers from us, because we are just very complex human beings. If we are thinking about so many psychological aspects that we just don't understand and are deeply buried inside us, because we are 70% water. Water has memory, and we even have memories inside us that are forgotten, even in our pre-birth period. So we are memory, and we carry maybe the experiences or traumas or memories of our ancestors. This is what I find fascinating. also, in the next series of works, which comprises only abstract works, I used a lot of layers. So this is why I was telling earlier that this layering process also has a metaphorical meaning. It's not just for experimental purpose. Of course it has, but it's not only this. This is one of my favorite works. It was supposed to be a figurative work, but then it transformed in an abstract work, because sometimes I have this feeling that I have an image in my head, and then when I start working, I realize that the work itself has its own life and its own personality. So it just evolved in an abstract work. I used a lot of unconventional materials like pitch, wax, oil colors, varnishes, all kind of industrial paints. And these obscure dark tones of colors that I used just symbolize this darkness which is in each human being. Because we are a sum of shadows and lights. We are not only a seen part, but we have also an unseen part inside of us, an invisible one. Here I also used sand, also industrial paints. I wanted to to reveal this sensation of pouring, of water, because I feel attracted to water, so I'm looking for this texture in my work. This is why here also you can see some pouring materiality. And here I also, you can see in this detail that I changed my way of working. I worked with my fingers. Sometimes I like giving up classical painter's tools and just start being more connected with the canvas, and why not working with the hands? Well, depends on my mood. This is my last series of work. It's a more conceptual one. It's something new for me, and I wish to continue it. It's called Flayed. I really care about this series. It comprises actually 20 pieces. Actually, they are painted objects modeled from clay. And after the clay was dried, I painted with oil colors. Yes, I chose to represent parts of meat because my concept was to see what is the unseen, so what you can discover beyond the skin. Skin can make reference to some social masks that we sometimes have to wear, or a lot of rules, because also Sigmund Freud said that we have really, actually, each human being has 3 parts from a psychological point of view. So it's ID, itself, and superego. Superego means actually the education that we receive, all the rules that are values, all the values, exactly, social morals, which are very necessary, but sometimes we want to go deeper and to find something else. And it's a continuous research, I guess. And this is a detail. You can see better that I really try to, so this was my purpose, to look as authentic as possible. I will show you only a few of them because there are too many. Each object has a particular form and dimension, I didn't want to do two identical objects, so each is different. Because we are different, our fingerprints are different, so I wanted to highlight this uniqueness of a human being. And also the vulnerability, which can be also be interpreted from multiple points of view, not only personal, but also social, political, I don't know, depends on the viewer's perspective. And this series of works I have recently exhibited. This is the poster of my exhibition, which is currently in the exhibition room, so it will be until 26th of July. It was exhibited in a gallery from Iași, private gallery, together with a colleague of mine. Actually, you can see here, before explaining my concept, you can see here the way my works have been displayed in these plexiglass boxes, which were actually hanged like classical paintings. I wanted to, by putting each object in this box, I wanted to highlight this idea of elegance, but also it had also practical purpose because they were so fragile. These clay objects haven't been burned because it wasn't a specific clay for being burned. And it was very fragile, as the concept is fragile or vulnerable. So. And I wanted to be transparent, all the sides of the box. Because we sometimes are transparent. These are the works of my colleague, Andrea Picop. She came up with a series of clouds. She actually is more philosophical based. We created, this was our intention, to create a contrast between lightness, symbolized by cloud, and heaviness, symbolized by meat. So we actually presented two different perspectives, types of materialities. We didn't want to shock for the shock sake. We just wanted to express this duality of each human being, because we also have, as I previously mentioned, our lights and shadows, so our pleasant and unpleasant parts. So mainly this was our concept. And we also came up with this installation object, which is part of the series I created. It's an armchair made of meat, and also I wanted to reveal this idea of massacre. Of course, it's a metaphor one, by coming up with some acrylic layers on the floor, and this way, by creating this kind of object installation, I wanted to create to the viewer a kind of tension, because I think an artwork doesn't have only aesthetical nice purposes, and an artwork should torment a little bit, should arise some questions. So this time, coach, this armchair is not for sit, it's for watch. So I try to give to the viewer another role. So the viewer this time is not passive, it's active, because he has to ask himself some questions. So, yeah. And this is an image from the art opening. We invited also two teachers, psychology teacher, who talked about this direction of mine of psychoanalysis and psychological aspects, which I researched in my series of works, and the philosophy teacher who talked more about my colleague's direction. She is also a PhD student, so she is doing her research in this area. And yeah, this is one of my favorite quotes by Sigmund Freud, where idea was, their ego shall be. So it's quite simple to understand this in the sense that it expresses this idea of confronting yourself, your true self, but only by integrating what is not conscious in the light of our consciousness. Now I will briefly show you a few images from my previous art projects, which I really care about. This was done in Mexico 2 years ago. I tried out to paint a few details of some inhabitant space expressions on huge stones, which were previously, the first time were exhibited in a classical exhibition place and then in the environment. So I think also the environment has a big influence to the atmosphere of the work. So I liked the way I could play with the space. I could hang out these heavy stones, and it was an interesting experience for me because I also painted the walls. So the walls for me were like canvases. So a detail. Of course, there have been so many images, but unfortunately, I select only a few. This is another glimpse of my other solo exhibition, which also took place in Iași. Some of the works I have already presented to you. Another project, a really important one, made in the United States with some colleagues of mine at the at the James Madison University from Virginia. It was a group exhibition and comprised a polyptych done from hundreds, I think thousands of portraits, classical interpreted portraits made by students and also by teachers. So it was a collective exhibition, I can see. And now I will present you a few pictures from the workshop I had at Brihata Art Foundation on 19th of July. So it was of course, an attempt to recycle fragments of our unconsciousness by bringing them into the light of our consciousness. So the participants were free to paint whatever they wanted, which style they wanted, figurative or abstract. But mostly of them painted eyes. I don't know why. The main point was also for them to think about also some uncomfortable experiences they wanted to express and associate them with a drawing, with a specific type of line or with a particular color. And it was mostly focused on this sensorial experience. It was a short workshop, so it comprised a lot of stuff. So these are a few images. I started with my presentation of my artworks because I thought it would be necessary for them to understand better the workshop. They had to understand my works because it was somehow related. We started with a collaborative drawing on a roll of paper. The participants were students from the Academy of Arts, as far as I understood, and there was another student from theater. And I found interesting for him to participate too, because I also thought about the scenography concept of the installation. So yeah, it was a spontaneous drawing. A lot of them drew eyes. It was, of course, a surprise for me. It wasn't something mandatory, but they felt to do this, so it was okay for me. So detail. And this is the second part of collaborative painting. The staff from Brihata was so nice, and they prepared everything for me, all the necessary materials. And why plastic bottles and not something else? I received this question. It's just because they were lighter. This is why I just chose it. And of course, because in the past, myself, I did some painting on glass bottles. But from practical reasons, and also from ecological reasons, because it's about recycling plastic, right? And I just I changed the literal meaning into a metaphorical one. So the way we recycle plastic, we can recycle our memories or thoughts and do something with them. And yes, I was very happy about the involvement of the students, and I thought that this unconventional way of painting with hands and not with paintbrushes was interesting for them, because you can better feel the color if you touch it directly without paintbrushes. And anyway, I think the way you eat food with hands, it's interesting for me, and it's a better connection, I think. So this is how this idea came to me. And yeah, they were delighted about this. So some of them painted abstract or even portraits. Whatever they wanted. It was something very spontaneous. In just 3 hours, it couldn't have happened differently. And afterwards, it was this installation. I thought this installation as a composition. So I didn't want to do a symmetrical hanging of the objects. Some of them were placed down or upper. This was placed in a diagonal, like in a composition. And of course, lights helped me a lot. Also, the students came up with ideas of adding some more spots so that we create a kind of scenography. And I liked very much how the shadows of the objects reflected on the surface of drawing, and also on this cloth. So it was, anyway, this workshop was a nice experience. It was also something new for me. I've done activities with my students, but not of this type. So I just tried to do something else and to see what happens. And these are only a few images. So each participant received, at the end of the workshop, a certificate of presence. So I think it's a good thing. They helped them a lot. And we had a final talk, because I was curious to find some perspectives, some impressions about the activity that we have done together. And they were happy, or maybe just polite, I don't know, but it was nice from my point of view. So thank you for your attention. I hope it wasn't too boring, my presentation. If you have questions, please ask me.